Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things we picked up when we picked up the Thrive 15 team was an entire team. You want an SEO guy that knows things about search engine optimization? Got it. You got a website guy that's built big websites like Garth Brooks' website? Awesome, we have it. He's coming in. If I had to pay for that on my own, outside of Thrive 15, there's just no way. For us, one of our most immediate needs when I got connected with Clay was technology. We had a website, but I had a website in Tulsa. Our other partner had a website in Colorado. They did everything from doing a drone video where they flew over all of our markets with a drone. They integrated that into our site. They built every single thing that I think of, they do. We do a podcast. If I was gonna produce my own podcast, there's no, I mean, that alone, just that alone would be what I pay Thrive, just for that. But then if you add the fact that I've got, if I need a business card design, if I need a website build, if I need this, if I need that, I know what I would pay for that. If I had to go a la carte, I feel guilty sometimes, like I don't probably write a big enough check for the value that I get. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have ideas what they want to do with their business and how they want to grow and what market they want to be in and how they can increase production and do all this. But it's not about having 4,000 ideas. It's about having 12 and executing them 4,000 times. That's the trick, in my opinion, and that's where Thrive's value comes in. I feel like I have my own staff, my own, like, I don't know, 20-person team that when I need something, I just go to them and it happens.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to talk about the stuff behind the stuff, the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. It's the reality is the reality of having you've built these systems, you built the workflows, you have all the designs, the graphic designs, the brands, the print pieces, the proformas, the spreadsheets. You have all these things you've built. You built all the things, all the systems, all the processes. But how do you get people to work within those systems? You know, how do you actually get people on the planet Earth, real humans, to do their jobs with the spirit of excellence? How do you actually hold people accountable to doing their jobs? I mean, once you have the systems and the processes and the websites and the business cards and the brochures and the trifolds and the new build out and then done and the new lease signed, how do you get people to actually follow those systems? And here to talk about it is the founder of a company called Window Ninjas, a longtime client, windowninjas.com. They're doing very well. So well, in fact, they're now franchising. Gabe Salinas, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Clay. Thanks for having me again this week.
All right. Well, Gabe, I'm fired up to have you. And I want to just pick your brain on this for a second. You know, a lot of people come to our workshops, and when they come to our business workshops, about a third of the questions are, you know, about the tactical stuff. How do you build the website? How do you make the print pieces? How do you make a performa? How do you build an org chart? How do you write the mission statement? Then a third of the questions are, how do you find people on the planet Earth who are willing to do said jobs? And then the other third of the questions are a lot of like, how do you deal with the human dysfunctions that happen while you're just trying to run the business? So I want to focus first on the tactical stuff. If somebody goes to windowninjas.com and they buy a Window Ninjas franchise, walk us through the level of systemization that you already have in place for anybody who buys a franchise from windowninjas.com.
Well, Clay, that's a great question, and it's something that I've been getting a lot of questions about lately. And the cool thing about us over here at Window Ninjas is not only do we clean windows and we pressure wash houses and we get debris out of people's gutters. Those are the three core business services that we offer. But there's always the magic behind the scenes, right? We have a call center here that actually picks up the phone and engages a potential client and works with them to get them on the books so that our service technicians can go out there and do the actual work. And when the service technicians go out there, they've got to follow a checklist. There's got to be somebody that manages those guys to make sure that they're doing their job well. And there's follow-up with that client after the service is completed, and then there's just more follow-up a few months later with just saying, hey, is there anything else we can help you with? And the accounting has to be done, and so we facilitate that as well. But what we've done over here at Window Ninjas is we've scaled everything because we know that systems work. We know how to hire employees. We know how to manage employees, and we know how to have fun while doing it. And those are the three core things that we do every single day over here at Window Ninjas, and it just repeats itself over and over and over again. So we're not always having to reinvent the wheel like some other companies that are out there.
Now, what I find is that a lot of entrepreneurs, they build all the systems, but then they forget, oh, yeah, I got to hire people. Oh, yeah, I got to hire people. Now, on part 2 of today's show, I'm going to walk through all the details of how to hire people. Walk people through the details of launching the online ad and how to do the job interview and all the nuts and bolts of that. But talk to me about this for a second. I mean, you guys at Window Ninjas, you have a support staff for all your franchisees and for all your locations of what I would consider to be A players or B players. And maybe you disagree, but I'm talking about A players and B players. A players would be people that get to work early. They stay until the job is done. They bring great energy every day. Those are the A players. They get there early. They get everything done, and they have great energy. A B player, they might be late half the time or a fourth of the time, or they get there right on time. And they get their work done, and they got good energy, but they're never quite early. They're always just a little bit behind. They don't quite they're not superstars, but they're good people, But you don't have a lot of C players hanging out there at windowninjas.com. Can you talk about A players and B players? And please feel free to disagree with me if you think that I'm incorrect about my assessment that Window Ninjas is primarily run by A players and B players.
Well, it's important that you got to have A players. You definitely got to have A players, and it's not too difficult to find A players. Like you said, Clay. When we do our group interviews, the A players, they typically follow the instructions to a T on when we put our ads out. They'll show up early. They'll dress to impress. They'll bring a note-taking device. And when we bring them back into our conference room, they're typically the first ones in line, and they're trying to get in the front row so that they can be a little closer to us in the action. And then you get the guys that are kind of like the B players who are a little bit of a follower. They'll follow the A players in, and they'll sit in that second row, and they may have gotten, I don't know, maybe 8 out of 9 of the 10 things that were asked of them before they even showed up. And then you get the C players who you can definitely, obviously, they're the ones that are trying to open up a locked door because they're 2 minutes late. Maybe they're like apologizing as they come in right as the bell rings for locking the door. They're coming in saying, "Oh, my kid was sick," or "Oh, I got a flat tire," or "Oh, the traffic's just so bad," and you can already tell they're making excuses. And then they sit in the back. They sit way, way, way in the back, as far away from you as possible, because for whatever reason they want a job, but they really don't want a job. And so we have to weed ourselves through all of these people, the A, the B's, and the C's. And we know that to be successful, we got to have a certain amount of A players. And we got to have a certain amount of B players. B players aren't bad. We definitely don't want the C's, but the B players aren't bad. They just need leadership. They're the ones that are going to follow. They're the ones that are going to go follow the A players, and the A players are the ones that are going to be the leaders, and they're going to either run a truck, they're going to be the crew leader, or they may be a manager of some sort. But they're the ones that are going to get things done, and they're going to rely on some B players to come in and support them because they know that they're going to have to coach and motivate those B players so that those B players can be exceptional B players and hopefully one day turn into an A player.
And
C players, you just don't want to bring those guys in at all.
Don't want to bring those C players in at all. And I appreciate you being honest about this, because I think a lot of people go, "Oh, no, my staff is only A players. I only have A players." Everyone, and you go, "Have you been to your restaurant? Have you been to your business? Have you?" So I'm just saying that I'm trying to help people grow an amazing business, and I'm trying to walk people through these 3 phases. And phase number 1 is, the checklist, the processes, the systems, the file organization, the backup server, the security on the website, the database, the customer relationship management system. All those things are very important. But the second step is you're going to have to bring in people that can do those jobs, now who can use those systems. Now, that third thing is how to deal with employees that are screwing you. Now, I want to set this up. And I'm going to give you a story, and it's true, and I'll get it I'll just share a story from the distant past, so that way it's not super controversial for anybody who might be listening to this show. But years ago, I had an employee, Gabe, and I'm sure you can't relate to this, but we have a non-compete agreement signed and a non-solicitation agreement, which means that the employees, if they quit, they can't go out and hire other employees away from you to start their own thing. And the non-compete is, basically they shouldn't be competing with you directly in the same industry you're in if they go on and do something else. So you're not basically training up your competitors. Well, this particular person had been on my payroll for over 10 years, and this is years ago. And Gabe, right away, I felt something weird. The person who used to be an A player is now being short. They're being difficult. They're not making eye contact. I do some basic research. I discover that they are going to go work for one of my longtime clients. So, Gabe, one of my employees is going to go work for one of my longtime clients, and their plan is to bring a lot of my current employees with them. And so my current employees tell me, hey, boss, just so you know, this particular employee here reached out to me, and they want me to go work for them. I'm not going to do it, but I wanted you to know what was happening, wanted to make you aware of the situation. And then, Gabe, you know how it is. Lawyers get together, lawyers talk, they go back and forth, the bill keeps going up. Meanwhile, the poor guy who used to be on my payroll, who has nothing to lose, he goes out there and starts the business. And after all the litigation and all the legal fees, to this day, he still is in that particular business, and he had no money, so he wasn't very suable. But, Gabe, I had to learn very quickly that time and the countless times that's happened to get over those times when I get screwed within minutes. Not years, not weeks, not days, not hours, but whenever I'm screwed, to get over it within a period of minutes. Can you talk about that, of just the importance of learning how to overcome jackassery when it impacts your life?
Well, I think honestly, Clay, I think you really have to go through one or two, maybe three, sometimes 5 of those situations before you just get it. Somewhere between 1 and 5, if it happens to you, you're going to figure it out real quick, and it's going to just roll over your shoulders. I've been in the same boat you're talking about. Every day you wake up and you go into business work, or, you're in business, it's like going to war sometimes. Not only are you contending with a happy customer, but you might get that angry customer. You might be dealing with a happy employee. You might have to contend with an angry employee. You might get an employee that wants to reinvent your own wheel and think they're going to go out and just take all of your business and start their own company. And, it's frustrating, but if you know how to handle it, you let that roll off your back, because you have learned how to handle those specific situations, I think you're just better off. Those guys that try to do that, kind of the shady way, in my experience, have never, ever, ever really grown to any sense of serious success.
And you're able to, right now, though, as a mature business owner, when you have a new franchisee that buys a franchise from you, you're able to mentor the franchisee through those things. And you're able to say, hey, dude, the first time you got sued, let me tell you how you handle it. Hey, the first time you get screwed, let me tell you how to handle it. Hey, the first time you had an insubordinate employee, here's how to handle it. I mean, you guys provide not only the systems, right, but you also provide the mentoring. I'd love if you could talk about that, because somebody out there, that's their concern. They're going, even if I buy a Window Ninjas franchise and they teach me all the systems, I don't know that I can manage people.
Well, that's the cool thing about franchising, and getting into a franchise system. I mean, you are buying into a system, but you're also buying into a coach and a mentor. And that's something I think I just got back from the huge convention in Nashville last week, and there's a lot of great guys there, great people. They're trying to learn stuff. They're getting their foot wet in the business individually, this, that, and the other. And the more and more I looked at them and talked to them, I'm like, you guys are coming here to get mentored. You're spending a lot of money. Why not save money, spend a little bit with somebody like me or some other franchise? It doesn't have to be me necessarily, but why not look into franchising and save money? Get a business coach, get a mentor.
Yeah.
That's literally right there by your side every single day. Every location that we have, all of my leadership team, they have access to me. They run into problems every day. Hey, I got a problem customer. Oh, I got a problem with an employee. Or, hey, we washed a guy's house and it was white. Now it's yellow. What do I do? You know, and so as opposed to them just pulling their hair out and spending a bunch of time and money, all they got to do is call me. And that's the benefit of having somebody that's mentoring, coaching, or like a franchise system. That's why franchises are so successful, is because we already have been through all of those hardships, and we know that, hey, come with us, you'll save money, you'll make more money, you'll have a lot more time freedom and financial freedom, and you got somebody right there by your side. It's like a partner.
Now, again, I want to go into these three systems. I want to get your thoughts on these three aspects of running a business. I mean, one, it's all the systems and the processes. And again, if someone goes to windowninjas.com, you have all those systems. We've worked with you, in many cases to help you build some of those systems. That's what I do as a business consultant. I mean, we make systems and processes. The second area, though, is you got to find people, folks. You got to hire people. And on part 2 of today's show, we're going to teach you how to do that. But then step 3, you've got to learn to get over being screwed. Because Gabe, if you're not careful, if you get screwed and you want to spend your whole day fighting with that employee who wants that unemployment, the employee who quit, they ghosted, they never even showed up, but now they filed unemployment. That employee who stole something from your warehouse valued at $1,000. The employee who stole one of your trailers and he did it. One of the employees who lied to a customer and now you're legally liable. I mean, these are the kinds of things that happen. And if you don't have the ability to move on quickly, you're not going to have any success. I'd love for you to teach somebody out there, because somebody out there is just, they're emotionally struggling to move on after being screwed.
If you hold on for too long to something bad that happened to you, you're never going to be able to take action the next day or the next minute or the next week and build action on what's going to increase your revenue and increase your business. So you just got to forget about it. Like I said, it's almost like going to war. You're going to win the majority of battles that you fight, but you're also going to lose a small amount of battles that you fight. And sometimes you just got to weigh which battle is more important: gaining more leads, building more customer trust, having brand loyalty, coaching and mentoring your team and your leaders, or worried about Jimmy because Jimmy decided to lay an unemployment claim on you, even though he only worked 2 days, but he really worked like 2 hours because he was sitting in the truck on his phone smoking weed.
There it is.
I mean, why worry about it, man? I would much rather worry about the bigger problem of how can we increase our revenue by 25% and put our energy into that, as opposed to Jimmy smoking the truck. You
are on it. You are 100% correct. And I just meet so many entrepreneurs who come to our in-person workshops and they tell me, Clay, right now it's not a good time for me to start my new thing because I've been involved in a dispute with a client, or a legal dispute, or a legal agreement dispute with a vendor or an employee or a partner for a year. And I'm going, you've been in a legal problem? You've been in a legal battle with your ex-partner, ex-employee, ex-whatever for a year? They're going, yeah, now's not really a good time to apply what I've learned at the conference because it's going to take me another year or two to get through the legal stuff. But then once I get through the legal stuff, then I'm going to move on. Someone says, I got divorced last year and I'm going to start to have success, but I got to get the divorce behind me. Now's not really a good time. Someone else says, my son just moved to college, and with him moving, I'm an empty nester now, and I'm just dealing with that, and now's not a good time. And I think people always think the time will never be just right. But really, you have to act now. So in closing there, if somebody goes to windowninjas.com, they could schedule a free consultation with you guys. And whether it's scheduling a consultation with you guys to see if they're a good fit, or opening that business, or growing that business, or buying a ticket to a workshop, or scheduling a free 13-point assessment with me, why should all of our listeners take action now?
Well, because action is the most important thing that you got to do. It doesn't matter what kind of action it is, but you got to take some kind of action. And if you're willing to take action, right, and move your action into the right direction, and forget about all those bad things that happened to you yesterday, start today, take the proper action. Hey, pick up a phone, call me. I'll walk you through the steps. You can get online at my website, and you can go on there to windowninjas.com and go to the franchising, boom, 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 schedule an appointment to talk to me or one of my team members. But again, or hey, Clay, they could call one of your businesses too, but whatever. But it's super important to take action. I don't think enough people in America today take enough action like we did 40 or 50 years ago. I mean, it's crazy. But if you take time and energy to move yourself and propel yourself forward, man, you're always going to be better off. Forget about all the bad things that happened to you yesterday. Forget about, hey, your kids are going to college. Great, man. Pat them on the back. They need to be getting out of the house anyways. They're old enough. Boom. Send them on their way. Enjoy your life. Take some action. Make some more money. Grow a business. Hey, take your wife on a vacation. Whatever the case may be. But, man, people just don't take enough action, Clay, and action is where the success comes from.
Well said, sir. I really do appreciate you carving out time for me today. Again, folks, that's windowninjas.com. That's Gabe Salinas of windowninjas.com. Gabe, we'll talk to you soon. Well, actually, we'll talk to you next week. I hope you have a great day.
Hey, you do the same, Clay. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye.
Steve?
Yes.
Oh, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you applying for the job.
Always.
When's the earliest you could start, Tyler?
Kyler.
Mrs. Anderson?
You can call me Marlene.
Okay, Marlene, we appreciate you applying for the job.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Let's just dive right in.
Boom, go.
What's your availability like?
I'm boycotting daylight savings time, so I'll either be an hour early or an hour late, depending on the seasons.
Tell me a little about yourself.
My mom says I have to get a job, so that's why I'm here, because she wants me to get a job.
Why did you leave your last job?
Of course, Harry, he was, I just felt like he was looking at me in a particular way. Of course, he was blind, so I don't know why I felt that.
Why did you leave your last job, Steve?
Fired. Next question.
So what do you think you bring to the table?
I can read people's energies. Let me read your energy real quick. You're a coyote. Congratulations. I don't run errands, and I don't answer the phone. You know what I do? I look hot. 24 hot. Whatever you need, I can do it. Janitor, CEO, cook, I can do it all. And I have done it all. And I will do it all.
Okay, so you do have experience in all of those areas.
No, but I just believe I can do it. So availability, you know, that's kind of a week-to-week thing for me. You know, I really just kind of like, we'll see. So
what do you consider your weaknesses?
chocolate, candy, Snickers,
Okay.
Reese's Pieces.
Okay. Becky, I think we're done here.
Do I get the job?
Presenting the world's only business school without the BS.
He be the Z and I be the C. Teaching business skills from Clay to Z. We both grew up poor, but we're poor no more. The goal of this show is to help you score. I couldn't see the light until my son could see, but I learned to rock the mic in the high school scene. A young DJ with All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. And the Thrive Time Show is all about helping you to create both time freedom and financial freedom. That is my focus. And there is no hocus pocus.
With the brocus.
Is no hocus pocus. All you got to do to make copious amounts of cash is to implement the proven system. There's no hocus pocus. There's just focus. All right. And what you have to do is you got to implement these moves. And so we have a thriver out there, a member of our coaching program called Complete Carpet. This dude's growing. Now, again, Chup, if you look this up I'm going to put this on the big screen so you can see this. Okay. The U.S. This is the U.S. GDP. This is the GDP. And we're videoing today's show as we film right now. We film a lot of the podcasts. We'll put them on thrivetimeshow.com so you can watch the video. Right now, the United States of America, where we live, where we broadcast.
This is this place.
Has a 1.6 growth rate. 1.6. Now, if you think about this, Complete Carpet Care had been in business for over 20 years. And now their growth rate, you are saying, I feel like it's 230%, but you're saying it's on the wall in the office at 260%.
Something like that. I believe.
You're probably right.
I believe.
I tend to exaggerate on the short side of things. I'm a skeptic. I'm a cynic. But the point is, he's growing like, I don't know, Chuck, 1.9%, and you think about that versus...
Hey, if it's 230 or 260, I'll take either one of them.
These people are growing 20, 40, 50, 60 times the rate of the average U.S. business right now. And so then the question he emailed in was, hey, I've been running my business for 20 years, and now I need to hire some people. So I need you guys to walk me through the system. And so right now, the group interview is step one, I was telling you. Step one, you got to do that group interview. Now, somebody is fighting me about this concept of doing an interview every single week. Let's walk you through the steps again. Step number one, post on Indeed and Craigslist every single week. Do it. Post it every single week. but if I post on Craigslist, what if they show up? That's right, because you've already scheduled it in your calendar to do the weekly interview.
Right.
Wow, this guy's so deep. Step 3. Why do you get so deep? It's so deep. I don't understand.
It's so far down I can barely.
It's like a metaphysical show.
I
don't
can't even
understand.
see you,
It's so
Clay.
weird.
You're so
Step
deep.
3, conduct the weekly group interview. So step 1, you schedule the group interview. Okay, got it. Step 2, you post on Craigslist and Indeed every week. Every week. Why do you say it that way? I don't get it. Step 3, conduct the weekly group interview. Right? Now what you do, you go over the following things in the group interview every single week. The expectations, the communication, the compensation. Now, there's some people out there, not you, not people we know. Some people say, I just can't do it. I don't know. I can talk until I can see it. I can't do it. I can't do it until I can see it. I have to see it myself.
You're in luck.
Which is great because you can come out to our actual. See, I own businesses. I'm not a charlatan. I don't make this stuff up. This is real stuff. This is real. These are the real profundities that make the U.S. economy work. This is how it grows. So you just show up. You email us, info@thrivetimeshow.com. You come out to the group interview. You could watch it occur. Okay. Then what you do, if you like the person, Shep, but I want to put this on the show notes under the group interview topics portion. After you like them, you say, if you like them, you say, hey, Andrew, I think you're a great guy. I had a few more questions for you. Sarah, I had a few more questions for you. Everybody else, if we decide to hire you, I will call you tomorrow by 9 a.m. If we decide to hire you, you'll get a call tomorrow by 9 a.m. You two, I had some additional questions. I wanted to ask you some things about your resume that I was, I had some questions. So everyone leaves, not knowing who's hired or not. There's no drama. Then you say, Sarah, you did a great job today. You showed up on time. You dressed sharp. You did great during the interview. So I want to ask you, is there anything on your resume that is crapola? And they go, what? Crapola? And you say, from the Greek word meaning fraudulent. Oh, fraudulent means crapola? No, I made that up. Really? Wow. So then you say, Doug, anything on your resume that's not true? He says, no, it's all true. Because 85% of people are lying on their resumes, according to Inc. magazine. But the cool thing is people that lie on their resumes are always late. It's the same group of people. It's the same group. Then what you do is they say, no, it's accurate. And you say, great. Well, I'm going to have you shadow me, which means I'm going to pay you for an hour of power to follow me around so I can see if you'd fit in here in the office. You could actually do the job for an hour before we commit to each other, right? Think, okay, cool. And that's how it works. Now, once you've done that, we got some paperwork we got to do here. So, Adam, you said you just Adam runs Tip Top Canine in Owasso, Oklahoma, and you've been in business since when? When did you open up there, my friend?
February 5th, 2018.
February 5th, 2018. You're doing approximately $8,000 of sales a week,
Yep.
and you told me you just hired a guy.
Yes.
What's his name?
His name is Billy.
Billy?
Shout out to Billy.
Are you messing with me? Because I joke about Billy a lot on the show.
I swear. Well, let's officially call him William.
William, okay. Oh, Billy. So you hired Billy, and these are the things you have to do. And you probably know this, but this is what you have to do, okay? So step 1, you got to have him sign that confidentiality and non-compete agreement. Have you done that move?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And Shep, we have this available for all of our listeners. If you come to the workshop, I will give these documents to you. You'll give these documents? But haven't you paid thousands for them? Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Because the thing is, my job is to help you execute. So I have no problem giving you all these legal documents. And since I've already paid to have them created, why would I not give them away? What's your real motive, though? Over time, if you listen to about 400 podcasts, you'll get it. My mission is to mentor millions. Step number 2, you need to have them fill out an I-9 employment eligibility form. Now, I tell you what, filling out an I-9 employment eligibility form is going to take some time. You don't want to take any of your time to have anybody fill out these forms if you don't like them, which is why you have to have extreme judgment. So I'm going to go back to Billy. How did you know Billy's a good fit? I mean, because you're a sharp guy, your business is growing, you're a startup that's doing well. I mean, how did you know that Billy was a good fit?
Well, it was the same thing. He came and he worked with the dogs. He proved that he was going to be, on time and do what needed to be done and be able to take direction. That's the biggest thing.
Coachability.
Yes.
Coachability. Coachability.
I see what you did there.
I thought about that for like an hour. I was thinking, I hope he hires a guy by the name of Billy.
I've been
Because if
saying
he does,
Billy
I
for
could
years.
say Coach Billy because it'd just be awesome. And it just happened right now. It's like deja vu. Me explaining what just happened was amazing.
Adam, so do you get what he's saying? Your guy's name is Billy, and he's mixing the words coachability.
This guy is like a deep. Wow.
Okay. I wanted to lay it out there for everybody.
I'll be doing a TED Talks video here soon about that. All right. So he's
It's the system of Billy. BE stands for
but you can hire character and train skill, and he's coachable.
Yes.
And that's as deep as it is.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do. All you need is love. Bum, ba, da, da, da. I got to do my trumpet sound. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love, Coach Billy.
All you need is character.
I kind of like my trumpet.
I think we both have good trumpets.
Wow, we really have a great skill that no one wants. Get out the wood block. Get out the triangle. These guys are going to take the show on the road. All right, so we move on now, Chubb. We've got things to talk about. There's a company out there that's been in business since 1962 because they're hiring good people. And right now, the rains are starting to come down. And the floods could start to come up. If you've got a hole in your roof, you probably want to fix that. That's a deep concept. What's he saying again? I'm saying if you got a hole in your roof, you probably want to fix it. And you don't want to get scammed by a roofer.
Come on now.
You want to use a legitimate roofer that's being pitched by the Thrive Time Show.
That's us.
You guys are just bragging on these guys because they're paying you. Absolutely. I'm shameless. If you sponsor this show, baby, we're going to get you business. Call Messick Roofing. What's this? What's their phone number?
Their phone number is 918-747-7141. It's very easy to remember. 918-747-7141. Or you can check them out at messickroofing.com.
Can you say the name Messick Roofing 20 different ways in the next 20 seconds, please?
Messick Roofing, Messick Roofing, Messick Roofing, Messick Roofing, Messick Roofing, Messick
Yes,
Roofing.
I like to say Messick Roofing. To me, when I say Messick Roofing, it reminds me of when I was a kid. I made a meth one time, and then I said ick.
And then he got
it's
sick.
Messick Roofing.
Man.
Give those guys a call because they pay us a lot of money. I just wanted you to call them.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
It's a Thrive Time Show on the radio. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. It's all about you. 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 Yeah. So we bring the boom.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And today we're talking about how to hire good people. Now, how to hire people. Now, the reason why I'm excited to talk about this topic is because right now, the GDP, the gross domestic product of the United States, this is you're basically measuring the growth of the U.S. economy overall. That's what you're doing. Right now, the GDP, let's look at the GDP, the growth rate.
The good.
Right now, it's saying and let's see, change 2018. So let's see our rate right now. It's at 2.6 is what one study's shown here in the New York Times. We're just going to, let's call it 3. Let's just say the economy's growing at a 3% rate.
Benefit of the doubt.
Our average client grows at about a 30% growth rate. So our average client grows at about 10 times the rate of the U.S. economy when they implement the system, which means that growth is good, but now you got to hire a lot of people. Now, I want to make sure the listeners get this idea, and if we get this idea, I think we can move on in having a very copacetic understanding of things. We have a mutual understanding of a big idea. If you grow a tree, Chubb, have you ever grown a tree? Have you ever seen a tree?
Yeah, I've seen trees.
Adam with Tip Top K9, you're a business owner. You're obviously thinking at a deeper meta level. Have you ever seen a tree?
I've definitely seen a tree
or two. Have you guys ever raised a tree? Have a tree at your house?
Well, as a kid, I thought that I could dump Cheetos into the hole that me and my parents planted a tree in, and it would grow Cheetos, and it turns out it didn't.
Was that before or after they stopped you from eating those paint chips?
No. It was, paint chips on top of the Cheetos.
Nice. Okay, so
new nachos.
Work with me on this idea, though. You have a tree, and the tree's going to grow, and the branches are going to grow sometimes in a weird way.
Yep.
So you have to prune the tree.
But see, that's a weird concept.
You got to prune the tree to get more fruit. You got to make sure the tree doesn't grow weird.
Right.
So when you hire people, you need to never stop hiring people because some people get entitled.
Ooh.
And entitlement, I want to look up the word entitlement. I want to give the listeners the actual definition of the word entitlement, Chubb. A lot of times we throw words around as a culture. We don't know what they mean. I think words have power. So, Chubb, give us the definition of the word entitlement. What does entitlement mean?
Let me get to it. Oh, I threw it on me here.
Oh, I pulled it up faster than you.
Did it. It's coming.
I beat you.
The fact.
I'm a faster Googler. Yet again, proving that I have more talents that nobody else cares about.
You're true. Here you go. Entitlement. The fact of having a right to something.
a right to something. So over
Here's
time,
a better one. The belief that one is inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment.
So what will happen is, I'll give you the cycle of typical employee, not your employees, and I'm sure not you, the listener, but other people. What will happen is they'll get a job, and they're excited about the job. They go, really? A job for me? Woo! And then over time, they start to say, wait a minute. I have to do things. Who are you to tell me what to do? And over time, uncoachable, non-high character people start to resent their boss.
But that wasn't in my job description.
Now,
Clay.
high character people never resent their boss because they realize that their boss has paid the cost to get where they are. And they ask themselves, hey, how can I get to where the boss is? Now, here's a problem we see a lot of times, is when the boss is a bad boss, good people don't want to hang around. If you're a bad boss, people don't want to hang around. So I'm working off the assumption your company's growing, you're a good boss, and you need to keep the company growing. You've got to do the group interview every week. That's step one. Step two, once you find the candidate that you like, you've got to have them fill out these documents every single time. You got to fill out all of these 7 documents every single time. And if you don't, you're going to get in trouble. Because there's a lot of laws out there that make sure that employees are taken care of the right way by employers and vice versa. So here we go. You've got to make sure that the confidentiality and non-compete agreement is signed. And again, Chuck, why do we have to sign that document? Why do we need to sign that document?
You got to make sure that it's signed in case because employees are going to go out and they're going to try and steal your clients. Some of them, and they're going to try to steal your systems. And so you've got to get that document signed, and if it's not part of your system that you do every time, eventually it'll fall through the cracks.
What if you hire somebody who has a lot of skill but doesn't have a lot of character? Will they still violate an agreement like this, you think?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And typically people who have nothing to lose don't care about the agreements they sign, so they just move right on. Now, the step 2 is you got to sign that I-9 eligibility form. And, Chef, can you look up the definition of the I-9 employment eligibility form? I want to give the listeners a formal definition of this incredible concept. And as we're doing that, I want to ask Adam this, because Adam's here with Tip Top K9. He has a location out there in Owasso. You're growing the business. Is it growing faster than you thought it would grow, my friend? Are you getting more deals than you thought that you would get?
Very much faster than I thought it would. It was actually took me a little bit to wrap my brain around it, because it was just like, I can't believe that it's actually taking off this quickly, and I'm going to have to take steps to keep my head from spinning off.
And you're in that virtuous cycle right now where you're getting happy customers who are leaving you reviews, which leads to them you getting more customers because everybody reads reviews, and you're just really, and then the ads work more and more effectively, so you can crank up your ads. And now it's just a great cycle of growth. So this I-9 form, previous to hiring this guy, had you ever spent a whole lot of time going, I wonder what an I-9 form is?
No.
Chuck, what's the definition of an I-9 form?
Form I-9 is used for verifying the identity and employment authorization of individuals hired for employment in the United States. All U.S. employers must ensure proper completion of Form I-9 for each individual they hire for employment in the United States. Boom.
And I've met
this includes citizens and non-citizens. Sorry.
I've met employers in the past who've told me I don't freaking mess with the I-9 form. The way I do it is like my word is my bond, and I do it like everyone's a contractor.
I'm old school. I do the I-8.
What I do is every single person who works for me is a contractor, because what the government doesn't want you to know is the way to go. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like what they don't. I got this book called by Kevin Trudeau. It's like the secrets that people don't want you to know. And I was watching this Ty Lopez video. Now I'm gonna tell you what. You might look at the surface and say Ty Lopez probably an idiot. You probably go deeper. You'd really discover that this man who runs around on jets, gallivanting around the country with women who was exposing their cleavage while being on a private jet, while talking about the books he hasn't read. He looks like a scammer when you go deeper. But if you go really deep, I'm talking about like really deep, then you'll discover that he's my kind of scammer. And so we Ty Lopez and I, we share.
He's a scammer.
We make everyone a contractor. We don't screw around with no freaking I-9 form. If that's you, and I know it's not our listeners, but if that's someone you know, go tell them, like, hey, buddy, you're going to end up in jail.
If that's your brother-in-law or your cousin twice removed, you got to tell them that.
You know people like this, though, Chuck. Have you met people like this?
Yeah, a bunch of people, because it starts off you're just trying to find the fastest way to get things done, and you don't want to spend too much time, but if you do that, you'll get yourself in trouble.
Now the next move, 3, you want to have them fill out the direct deposit form. Chuck, sell somebody on the idea of why somebody would want to have their employees fill out the direct deposit form.
Oh, you got to do it. A, it's good for the employees. It makes their life easier, right? So it's kind of a benefit for them. But 2, if you do that, then you'll have all the information you need to get some type of payroll service when you have the time and the money to be able to do that. And so then the checks will just go directly into their account.
Move number 4, you want to have a new employee setup form. We have all this available for you. Now, the new employee setup form is basically going over the way the world works, and there's a lot of specific boxes and things you go over. But you want to make sure that when you start the job, the expectations are in place, that brings us to our 5th document, the policies and the handbook. Can you give me an example, Adam, from Tip Top Canine? I mean, are you guys allowed to abuse the dogs and do, like, violent forms of dog training over there at Tip Top Canine, or are there standards and ethical ways that you are taught to train the dogs?
We definitely don't abuse the dogs. Actually, with our system is we don't need to raise our voice, get physical on the leash, stuff like that. And if we see somebody doing that, that's not the way we do it.
Have you ever met somebody who physically abuses a dog? Have you ever seen somebody do this?
Yeah, I've seen people do it, especially like driving down the road. You see some hillbilly beating their dog in the front yard,
And you've actually had an animal rescue where you would pick up dogs in the past, right?
Yeah.
So you're passionate about taking care of dogs the right way, but occasionally as a company grows, if somebody slips, if you do the group interview, you'll never have an idiot working for you. But you want to establish in the handbook the things that maybe are common sense. You need to have them documented. You need to go over those things. And then, Chup, you got to have them fill out a W-4 form. A W-4? Was he one of the main characters in Star Wars, W-4? That was the droid, the W-4. Chup, can you look up the definition of a W-4 for you out there who's really excited? Wow, these are great. These are exciting ideas of riveting stuff here. Riveting. But I think that's the big thing about business. Is sometimes there's not some sexy things. There's parts of the business that aren't sexy, but you have to do those things. And one of those things is having new employees fill out the W-4 form. Chuck, what's the W-4 form? What does it say?
W-4 is completed by employees and given to their employers so their employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from the employee's pay.
Oh.
This is a big deal, and you want to make sure employees know what they're doing on this, because if they fill out the wrong stuff and it's a year later, they could be in a big, big, big world of hurt if they are not saving for taxes or doing the right thing.
You know somebody who gets their stuff done right, somebody out there, a listener out there, who really pays their employees properly. Who does the proper deductions?
Who's that?
Who commits part of their check to show their patriotism. They pay the IRS. These guys, exciting individuals. These guys love our country. They love paying taxes. It's Platinum Pest and Lawn, Chup. Platinum Pest and Lawn. And these guys are so proud of their service. They're willing to treat you. They're willing to take care of you, give you the first service for just $1.
That's right.
Visit them online right now at www.platinumpestandlawn.com. That's platinumpestandlawn.com. Visit them. If the first service is just $1, they are great show sponsors. Check them out at platinumpestandlawn.com.
3, 2, 1, boom! Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. Presenting the world's only business school without the BS. With optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark. Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
Yes, sir. It's Z and Clay, broadcasting from the box in the 918. Business school in the topic today. Check the syllabus, it's getting you paid. I'm making the business boom, it's what we do. You can do it, let us show you. All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. We had a loyal listener that I ran into last week, and this gentleman was explaining to me that he loves the radio show, but he doesn't know how to listen to the podcast. And so I thought I would take just a second for any of our listeners out there to break it down for you. We have about as many people that download the podcast as we have that listen to the show. So there's estimates that say about 33,000 people listen to the show at any given time, and we have approximately 40,000 downloads. And so you can kind of see, do more people listen on the podcast or do more people listen on the radio show? Either way, because I know that our listeners out there are business owners, and most of these business owners don't spend a whole lot of their time listening to podcasts. A lot of these people are busy running banks, running dentistries, photography companies, whatever. I wanted to break that down. So what you'll do is just go to thrivetimeshow.com. That's thrivetimeshow.com, and then you'll click on the podcast button, and then away you go. There'll be a play button there. You can hit that button. You can pause that. You do whatever you want. It's really, Chup, there's a plethora of audio play options once you get to thrivetimeshow.com.
It's a free-for-all audio buffet up there. You can just eat all you want.
Nice. Now, we had a question that came in from a Thriver today, and this question is, he wants to know how to hire somebody. And so I love the question because it is a simple question, but it's actually the kind of show that we're gonna deep dive into everything you would possibly ever want to know about how to hire somebody, because I don't think they teach this at business college. Chuck, you went to business school at Oklahoma State University. Did they ever teach you the specific steps of how to hire somebody?
Specifically, no, they did not. They didn't really teach you the specific steps to do anything besides write papers or do silly things that you would hit a deadline, and that was about it. So.
And have you ever thought, you recalled the last time, if you thought about, geez, when was the last time you wrote a paper for a business that you've ran? I mean,
I remember just a couple days ago, you assigned that out. You wanted me to write a 20-page report on all of my. No, of course not. It doesn't matter. There's no need to write papers, 30-page papers over whatever theory of management practice that you're learning. It's all about what we're going to get into today.
Okay, so here are the practical steps for hiring somebody. Step number 1, Chep, let's put this on the show notes. You need to schedule a group interview. Our group interview is every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. for all the different companies that we have, we interview people at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays. Every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. What time? 5 p.m. What day? Wednesday. You interview people every day? Yes. So we interview people every single Wednesday at 5. Well, what if they can't come in at 5? Then they can't come. They can come next week. They can come a different week. Every single week at 5 p.m. we do a group interview. And Chuck, could you explain why we do, from your perspective, why we do the group interview every single Wednesday at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, it's a pretty simple concept. Those unicorn employees, those A players, they're not just looking for work when you're looking for new team members. They're looking for work when they're looking for work. They may be fed up with an existing boss. They may have gotten laid off for whatever reason. Whatever's going on in their lives, if they are looking for a job and you're not hiring, you're going to miss out on all those people. So it's just like sales. I always tell my clients, it's just like sales. If you're looking for a deal as soon as you're out of all of your work, it's way too late. It's way too late to find a new deal. So you've got to find those employees as they're looking for work, and then you can build a place within your organization, or straight up tell them, hey, just hired that spot, but you're the first person in my file. As soon as I'm ready, I'll be getting in contact with you.
Every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. you have to do it.
Right.
Okay? So here are the steps to doing the group interview. 1, you need to post that you're now hiring to make a job post, and post that every single week on Indeed and Craigslist. Somebody says, should I post it on social media too? Sure. Somebody says, should I drop off flyers at the local community college? Sure. Somebody says, should I also tell family and friends I'm hiring? Yes. But what I'm saying is you have to do it every single week. Every single week, post on Indeed and Craigslist. Now, the second thing you have to do every single week as it relates to getting people in for the group interview is you're going to need to actually conduct that interview every single Wednesday at 5. So now that you're job posting every single week, you want to actually conduct that interview. Okay, so you need to actually block it off in your calendar. You can't do it some weeks and some weeks not do it. You have to do this, okay? Now, the next little move as it relates to the group interview is no matter what anyone's resume says, always respond with the same email. So when somebody submits their resume, always say, hey, it looks like you might be a good fit. I'll see you this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Now, Chuck, why do we want to say to every single resume, every single time, whether it's accurate or not, hey, it looks like you might be a good fit. I'll see you this Wednesday at 5 p.m.
Right, because the whole point of this process is a multiple filter method to filter out people through the different steps, but it's also to save you time. As the business owner or the manager, the whole goal is to save you as much time as possible, so you're not scheduling 20 hours of interviews for 20 or 30 people. You're scheduling 1 hour every week.
Now again, these are just thoughts I have as I'm explaining how to hire people. I never have and never will, and you should not read resumes until after the group interview. Chuck, this seems like a countercultural idea, but according to Inc. magazine, and we'll put this on the show notes, 85% of people are lying on the resume. 85. So if there's 100 people applying for your job, you get 100 resumes. 85 of those resumes are completely bogus. They're 85 of the 100. I mean, that's crazy. And you think about this. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 75% of employees steal from the workplace. 75%. So if you think about this, 85% of the resumes that you would be reading anyway are crapola. That makes zero sense. So again, no matter what the resume says, even if the resume is mangled and misspelled, because you won't even know, because you're not going to read the resume. If they send you a picture of a cartoon, a hand drawing of their hand, you know how you can like trace the outline of your hand and make a turkey?
That's awesome. I like that movie.
If that's what they send you, they send this to you, gobble, gobble. If that's what they send you as the resume, that's fine. If they take a picture of papyrus that they have used, they've used cuneiform, they've compressed reeds, and they're using ancient hieroglyphics to write, and I know that because I went to college. But if they send that to you, that's fine. If they send you a picture of themselves flipping you off, you would say, looks like you're a great fit, because you wouldn't know.
Can't wait to see
because
it.
you're not going to read resumes. You don't ever read the resumes. You just say, it looks like you're a good fit. You could be a good fit. I'd like to see you this Wednesday at 5. And someone says, well, what if they can't do it this Wednesday at 5? Well, then they can't do it this week, you know? Well, what if they have a question? No. What if they, no. And that's how you do it, right? So, but there's got to be more. There's not more. Now, the next step is, how do you do the group interview itself? Oh, these are good questions. This is how you do the group interview. By the way, if you don't know how to do it and you live in the Tulsa area or you're in town, a lot of people are flying in for our workshops from all over the world. You might want to plan your trip where you could fly in on like a Wednesday morning or a Tuesday night so you could watch our group interview. But this is how you do the group interview. 1, you go over compensation. Okay, you go over compensation. 2, you go over the expectations of the job. 3, you go over communication. Like who people need to report to. If you work here, who's your boss going to be? Who will be your boss if you work here? The org chart. How the organizational chart works. So let's go over the first one. Okay, so communication. You'd say the first one would be like expectations. You'd say, here's the deal. My name's Clay. I own a haircut business called Elephant in the Room, and we operate with excellence, which means that we pride ourselves on being the highest reviewed men's grooming lounge in Oklahoma and in all the other states. And so to do that, we have to have really great people, which is why we're interviewing you, and we have to pay you more because turns out great people want to make more than people that are not doing a good effort. So the question I'd have for you is we move into compensation. So Mr. Workshop attendee, Mr. Group interviewer, Mr. Person attending this work group interview, compensation. What specifically will I pay you? Now, this is a good question. So I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to pay you this much per hour, and you get this much commission, and you get this much tips, and this is how your check works out. Any questions about compensation and or expectations? Okay. Third, we're going to go into communication. If you work here, if you're going to the South Tulsa store, your boss will be Dan. And Dan got this job not as a result of knowing me, but as a result of working hard. There's no nepotism here. And even if there was a kid of mine or a family member of mine that wanted to work here, they all have to start at the bottom. So Dan is there as a result of his hard work. If you want to work at downtown, your boss would be Wendy. If you want to work in Broken Arrow, your boss would be Jason. And then above all 3 stores is what we call a super boss, the super manager. How come it's such a formal title? The super manager.
He's super.
Jason manages all 3. And then above that, there's Jonathan Kelly. And Jonathan Kelly would only be called if Jason has a freak out moment, which he can't have because he's a super manager. But if he did have one, he would reach John. And if John can't handle it, which should never happen, he calls me. So really, no one should ever call me. But I actually do trainings every single Friday with you guys personally. I'll be training every single person here every single Friday on how to cut hair as well as how to sell products. We have our lead stylist, our master stylist, Cynthia. She conducts hairstyle training every single Friday, and I do sales training every single Friday. That's how that works. Okay. And then every single Monday, we have a manager meeting. What questions do you guys have? And usually they look at me and go, there's one hand that goes up. Because remember, if you had 50 people say, I'm going to be here Wednesday at 5, Chup, what percentage of the candidates actually show up for the group interview?
Maybe 10 to 20 if you're lucky. 10 to 20%.
People who said, I'll for sure be at the interview.
Right.
Only 10 to 20 of those 50 ever show up.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I'd say 5 to 10, actually. So 5 to 10 of those people will probably.
So 10 of the 50 show up.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And then what happens is, of those 10 that show up, maybe only 5 show up on time. So there's 10 people there, but there's 5 that are already dead to me. Because if you're late for the interview, I don't really have a curiosity as to who you are or why you're late. I just know that if you're late for the job interview, it's not going to work out. And through extreme judgment and the prejudice that I use during my group interview, I have found a great team. So if you're late, regardless of your race, your religion, your creed, if you're late, I'm not interested. Then what I say to you is I say, all right, what questions do you have? And I get questions from numbskulls who are late, but I also get questions from good people. The good people ask me some questions, and it's just an open dialogue where they're really interviewing me the majority of the time. I mean, they're actually asking me questions, and I don't care, no matter what the question is, because I am trying to see if they can think and if they can communicate. And if they can think and communicate, they are in an elite group of people called the kind of people I want to hire, potential employees. Then I say, hey, guys, so that you don't have a skewed perspective of what it's like to work here, I'm going to have you guys shadow me tomorrow. You're going to actually shadow me for an hour of power, me because I'm the boss guy. And then if I like you, I'm going to send you over to the South Tulsa store, and you're going to actually, or Broken Arrow or whatever, and you're actually going to do a demo haircut. Because if you have a license and people, and you say you can cut hair, I'd like to see you cut hair. And I would do this for coders, web developers, photographers, videographers, any position at all. I would have somebody shadow me. And, well, what are you looking for if they shadow you? I don't know. This would be maybe the same. If someone says, how do I know if someone should be a friend? If you like them. If you don't like them, don't hire them. If you do like them, hire them. This is how it works. This is how we do it. Now, Chuck, we have a company out there that we've worked with for a long time that has really built a great team of people. You know, they've gone through this process, and they have found some elite people. And that company is Classic Janitorial. These guys provide great cleaning services for Dr. Zeller and Associates, for Google, for the Thrive Time Show offices. For Newstar, for DuPont. And they want to provide janitorial services for you. Chuck, what's their phone number? What's their website?
Their website's theclassicclean.com, theclassicclean.com, or you can call these guys at 918-671-2046, 918-671-2046. They're going to include some high-traffic carpet or tile buffing for you included in your cost.
And their phone number, again, is 918-671-2046. Call them during the break, and I'll give you a free copy of my book, Thrive. Stay tuned.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170. Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. It's Business School Without the BS. Featuring optometrist turned entrepreneur, Dr. Robert Zellner, with USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download. And we had a very simple question that was emailed from a Thriver, but this is the kind of stuff that, Chuck, you went to business school at Oklahoma State University.
I did.
And they don't teach this there.
They don't teach anything that you will remember.
Or that you'll use.
That's what I mean. If you don't use it, you'll remember it.
You spent the majority of your college experience, as did I, writing research papers, paraphrasing books,
team projects,
talk about business ethics. None of that crap matters. Let me tell you what happens for business ethics. If you screw enough people, you go out of business.
True.
That's
and if you let enough people screw you, you go out of business.
So if you don't screw people, then you grow. But these are thoughts. But here we go. So we're talking about how to hire people.
That's a whole semester right there in just like 3 minutes.
And by the way, if you did attend the Clay Clark Business College, it would be called a 2-day in-person Thrive Time Show workshop.
That's right.
Because in 2 days, I can teach you what you need to know. And you might spend a year applying it, but in 2 days, you get the whole thing. There it is, bada bing, bada boom. We go from A to Z at the workshop. So here we go. The question is how to hire people. So step one is you have to hold a group interview every single week. Now, again, if you've never seen a group interview, you don't know about a group interview, Google does group interviews. Big tech companies do group interviews. It's not like I'm inventing the concept of a group interview here. It's a better way to go. So just do it. And if you've never seen one, just come out this Wednesday at 5. Email us to info@thrivetimeshow.com. Schedule your reservation at our in-person at our offices. We have about a 20,000 square foot facility there. Just come out to our offices. When you come out to the offices, you can just get there Wednesday at 5 and watch the group interview.
Just sit there and watch.
We've had people do this.
And if you don't believe what Clay's saying here, well, I don't know why you're listening to the show in the first place, but
I think some people do just to antagonize themselves.
But I can tell you what, when I ran a concrete company for almost a decade with my parents, and this system right here would have had the biggest impact immediately on our lives. And I'm not exaggerating. If you don't do this, you will get stuck in a doom loop where your employees hold you hostage. They become entitled. They make demands that are unreasonable. They make you work on their shifts because they don't want to show up, and you can't fire them because you don't have anybody else. And I'm super passionate about it when I work with my clients because I see every single person goes down the same road if you do not do the group interview every single week.
Now, here is why this person is asking this question. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they're growing. They're a client, and they're growing by 231%.
Woo!
I believe. Did you look on the complete carpet clean? Is it 260 or is it 260?
I want to say it was 262.
Okay, the last time I saw it was 230. But anyway, they're growing over 200%.
Awesome.
The average American company is growing by 2.9%. That's the current gross domestic product. That's the current growth rate of our economy.
200-something%, just a little
it's
bit
like
more.
10 times more than the average business. So they're growing, and then that's why they need to hire somebody, because now they need to hire people to keep up with the demand.
Right.
And that's a complete carpet cleaning, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
CompleteCarpetTulsa.com.
So we have a thriver inside the studio today, and this guy has actually bought a tip-top K9 business location, and the company is doing great. I mean, he's out there in Owasso. He's growing all the time. Thank you, Tulsa, by the way, for supporting Adam and his newest business location there in Owasso. And so I want to get Adam's take on a few things here. Adam, when you opened up your tip-top location out there in Owasso, was it a little bit scary for you opening your own business? I mean, you had to buy all that crap. I mean, you had to buy probably $15,000, $18,000 of crap. You had to auto-wrap your car. You had to buy leashes. You had to invest in 200 hours of training. Was it a scary thing for you?
Absolutely scary. It was like one of the scariest things I've done probably ever as far as work or business or anything like that.
Are you a married guy? For the folks out there that don't know you, are you a married guy?
I am married.
How long have you been married?
6 years now.
Do you have a death wish? Did you want that marriage to end terribly, or why did you go out there and want to start a business? What did you talk to her about it first? I mean, tell us about what was going on in your household in the moments leading up to starting the company.
Well, it looked like a opportunity that I would be foolish not to at least give a shot. I mean, why not? I'm good with dogs, good with people.
How did you hear about a tip-top canine?
Ryan actually trained 3 of my dogs back in, I think it was 2007 or 2008, I think.
So the founder of the company sowed the seeds by doing a good job for you in 2007.
Yes.
Now, I was just thinking about, a lot of things. I've got very, very metaphysical. I was thinking super deep about a lot of things. The one thing I thought about, Chip, it is not 2007.
It's not.
It is not. It's 2018 now.
It's like 11 years ago.
It's like 11 years ago. So you met the guy 11 years ago. Anyway, how did you decide that the business model made sense? When did that idea occur to you?
Well, Ryan actually contacted me to get in touch with some rescues because me and my wife have connections because we actually ran rescue ourselves.
Animal rescues?
Yeah, dog rescues.
Okay.
So we had connections with some rescues in town, and he was actually looking for a place to be able to train new trainers.
So he reached out to you to find a new place to train new trainers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you knew, okay, this might be a thing?
You said, I might be a new trainer.
Yeah, he was like, hey, what are you doing career-wise right now? And I said, well, I'm going to school, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to school to get my certified veterinary assistant, or my veterinary.
Where were you going?
I was going to San Juan College.
San Juan?
Most of it was online.
Juan?
I was just transferring to TCC to finish out the program there.
Nice. Okay, so very, very bicultural of you to go to San Juan.
San Juan.
So you're going to San Juan University. Now, so you decided to start your own business. Now you're how many weeks into owning your own business? Is it 11 weeks, 400 weeks, 9 weeks? How many weeks approximately?
We started February 5th was the first day official. So was that like
10 or 11 weeks?
10 weeks, yeah. 11 weeks.
So what are your average sales per week now, roughly? I mean, at this point.
They're right about $8,000.
So if you did $8,000 a week of sales every week, now there's 52 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong. In a typical week, I mean, would you go out on a limb and say in a typical week we have about 50, or typical year we have about 52 weeks? I mean,
there's right in 48 to 54, right in there in that range.
There's
somewhere.
research to show that the average week has 7 days, and so I was doing the research on it. Chip, where do we find our research team? I mean, this is amazing.
But if you take those 52 weeks at $8,000, that's $416,000.
Or that'd be $1,142 a day.
There you go.
And so and if you took 85% of that, which is I think what you get to keep 85% of that approximately. So you keep 85%. Now you have expenses, but so that's basically $971 a day that you get to spend on whatever you want to spend on, and then obviously pay your expenses out of it and that kind of thing. And so, but now that you're growing, have you gotten to a place where you maybe are selling so much that you're probably going to need to hire somebody soon? Are you there?
I already did.
You already hired your first guy?
Yeah.
What? Which is a great segue into our next segment as we talk about how to hire somebody. Woo-hoo. How to hire somebody. If you're growing so fast, you need to hire somebody. That's a great thing, but you can really screw up your business if you hire a moron. And most people are freaking idiots. So if you go out there and you hire a moron or a freaking idiot or a person whose mind doesn't work or somebody who's got Novocaine in the brain, you're going to fail. Now, I'll tell you what, if you want to hire a great company that has great people, you want to hire Onyx Imaging. These guys will pick up your office supplies. They'll do it for you. They'll pick them up. They'll deliver them for you. They're going to beat any competitor's price. It's Onyx Imaging. These guys will take care of your office supplies, deliver them to your office, and they'll beat anybody's price. Chup, what's their website and phone number?
OnyxImaging.com, OnyxImaging.com, ONYX, or their phone number is 918-627-6611. Again, 918-627-6611. Printer supply, office supply, printer service.
Bam!
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
Oh, sorry. The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. That they taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action. and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline. But that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Colaw with Colaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark. Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for a Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.